Welcome to the NBA Coast to Coast podcast brought to you by Lines.com. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined by Nate Weitzer. He's on the East Coast. And we are looking at 4 games here in the NBA playoffs on Tuesday night. We are going to be looking at the first one here, the Bucks and the Pacers, seeing if the Bucks can go ahead and stay alive. We know Dame's not here. He's not going to be around for a while with that torn Achilles. So we'll see if they can keep it going. But we're going to be looking at some best bets, player props, and everything you need in this one. Also have episodes up for the other 3. So make sure that you are subscribed to that channel. Don't miss any of the playoff action we've got for you moving forward. Nate, let's go ahead and run right into your first look here for this Bucks-Pacers game.
Yeah, I'm thinking Giannis gets to his 50 PRA, but the Pacers win, and then that gives you even money in terms of parlaying. I mean, definitely considered adding some Halliburton stuff in terms of the double-double for big-time plus money if you do add that as well. But, I mean, I think with Giannis, it's just a question of the team being completely on his back. I mean, there is no question, right? He landed on 49 in the last game. He's landed on 49 a couple times in this series. And so, I mean, that's why you get some value here for the 50 PRA. He averaged exactly 50, though, in the 16 games without Dame this season. And we're talking about a 2.3 increase in terms of assists per game on the road with no Dame. So it's combining the stats because he's just absolutely dominant on the glass, but he's either going to be able to score or assist against this Pacers defense, just going to be forced to do so in this elimination spot. In closeout and elimination games, he's gone over in 3 of his last 4, averaging 56 PRA, the under being a blowout win, and we don't expect a blowout win. I mean, my biggest concern here would be a blowout loss with the Pacers climbing to -8 here, but I mean, we know he's been eating against the Pacers, right? The averages 50 points and rebounds just in his last 10 regular season games against the Pacers. And then you add 7 assists per game. And I mean, I don't know but rebound wise in this series, he actually has the second highest rebound rate among all qualifiers in the playoffs. 73% of his 19.5 rebound chances, just eating the glass. So, I mean, I don't know if we really need to talk about why we think the Pacers are going to win. I think that's probably pretty obvious at this point. You'd hope it's not a 1-2-3 Cancun situation. And Giannis isn't really that type of dude, I think, in to like sulk away and not give it his all right down to the final whistle, right?
Yeah, he's the only one that I trust at this point. So, yeah, if you want to bet on anything Giannis in that game, I completely agree with parlaying it with the Pacers to win. I don't have any faith in. I mean, the defense of the Bucks isn't good enough to carry a lack of offense. It's just basically the Heat situation in Cleveland. Maybe there's a bit more. I would say for that Boston-Orlando game, that's the one I feel the most confident that Orlando's not going to roll over entirely. But other than that, like I think this is the second most likely game to see at least Giannis bring the effort. Just like you said, this thing needs to stay within like 25 points before we get to quarter 4 to keep him in there for, a solid 5-6 minutes in the 4th to help us out. But I'm just going to get into my first look here and go under because I think this is one of those guys. I don't know if he's going to necessarily give up. I don't know if he's going to have a chance to play that much. And that's Kyle Kuzma. So I'm taking under on all of it on the PRA for Kuz in this one. This thing might drop further, or it might actually, the price of this might actually go up for us. We might see him at 15.5 PRA. There's a couple spots that are looking at him already at about 15.5 or 14.5 completely juiced to the over. So that would lead me to believe this could get to 15.5. But I'm kind of basing a lot of what I'm looking at in this game on what happened in the last game that Dame didn't play in game 3, right, where he was just out from the start. And in that one, Kuz saw 19 minutes, 16 minutes, whatever it was, 21, but he's not getting to 30 anymore. He's had 30 in one game this series. Clearly it's Bobby Portis and Gary Trent that are basically coming in and taking any minutes away from Taurean Prince. Obviously Brolo's coming out with Dame. I think we're going to see KPJ starting. All of this to say that, like, if you're talking about the points for Kuz, he's going to have to get it in real quick because I don't see him playing unless they give him blowout minutes, but they haven't been giving him blowout minutes. I don't know why you would do that to a guy you just traded for as like a quote unquote important playoff piece. But yeah, like I said, 21 minutes 2 games ago, 16 in the last one. And in that 31 point game, it really seemed like his last shot. Like he wasn't awful by any means, but because we were comparing it to game 1 where he was about as bad as you can be with a 22 trillion, right? 22 minutes and just zeros across the board for him in that one. Game 2 didn't look as bad. They gave him one more shot. He was still minus when he was on the court out there in that Game 2 loss. And if you look at him now, where he's played 6 games versus Indy with Milwaukee, he's at 10.8 PRA. And part of the reason there is like where he's at on the floor. He's just out guarding guards. He's oftentimes either on like an Andrew Nembhard or Neesmith in the corner as well. And he's gotten out basically just away from the basket, man. So he's just not in a good position. Obviously, Giannis is getting the bulk of those rebounds anyway. And then as far as the dimes go, like we're talking about 2 potential assists per game for this guy against a team that doesn't give up assists. He's never going to be in a position where the defense is collapsing on him and he's got an imbalanced defense to go up against. So love him for under on all 3 of them. I'll just take it the combo PRA.
Yeah, I mean he's getting the Tony Snell minutes, right? 0-0-0, just out there getting cardio. I mean he wasn't quite as bad as since Game 1, like you said, but just a really bad fit in general for Kuzma here on this team, and it looks like the Bucks might have to blow this thing up and just start from scratch. But I do like Kevin Porter Jr. in this game to continue what he did. He's kind of an irrational confidence guy, so I expect him to continue to fire away. Over 1.5 threes was plus 118. And I mean, over 13.5 points also seems reasonable. But I mean, the Pacers clearly have a will live approach when he gets a screen, right? And they just went under. And he was like, you know what? Again, the irrational confidence goes 5 for 7 from deep last game. I think that can carry over to this one here. 3 were above the break where he really just had time to line it up and fire. As you said, Kuzma and Brook Lopez remain useless here in this series, and Giannis just needs a little help in terms of an outlet, another playmaker. Pacers are going to sell out to try to stop him, and KPJ will step up. I mean, he's shooting 40% from 3 since the All-Star break. So if the defense does get tipped towards Giannis, like he can knock down these open shots. He hadn't been doing it earlier in the series, and I mean, Dame was in there for at least one, but you look at 30% usage in games 2 and 4 with Dame mostly out, which dropped. So, I mean, it's an obvious boost here without Damian Lillard. We're talking 20.6 points and assists per 36 in the regular season when Dame did not play. And you're suggesting he might even start here and get like the 36 minutes because Doc Rivers really has no other cards to play.
Yeah, what's your alternative here, man? You don't have a playmaker outside of Giannis, and it's just a different type of playmaker. We're not talking about a guy who like goes and tries to get some action going, and if it's not there, then he dribbles it back out and can keep the dribble going and can continue the handles until they can set up a new play. There's one guy left on this team that can do that. There were 2. They traded Chris Middleton. I'll just remind us of all that one more time. Closing it out here with my last one. Just going to go back to the well that is Andrew Nembhard, man. And I don't know. I would have to ask the books why they don't like Andrew Nembhard, but playoff Nembhard is real, man. And we're still at 11.5 points, and he's still a 15 a game guy here in the playoffs since last season. So I'm just going right back to it. The thing about Nembhard that changes here is he's not guarding Dame for the entirety of the game, and he doesn't have Dame on him. Kevin Porter Jr. is taller than Dame. He doesn't try that much harder on defense than Dame does. So I'm certainly not worried about that matchup, as I imagine Nembhard will be on KPJ. Like we just said a minute ago, I do see Porter Jr. starting, and that would leave Nembhard in that matchup, which is, again, what we saw in Game 3 when KPJ came in and played about 27, 28 minutes in that one. Well, now we're going to probably just get him up to about 5 because he should have been starting in that game. He's definitely going to be starting in this one. We'll probably see Gary Trent. The only question left is, do we see Brolo out there or Bobby Portis? But for Nembhard, like, it's not like he's had to get all the way to the rim, and whether or not there's a shot blocker is even relevant for Nembhard. He's done most of his damage from outside of the restricted area, outside the paint, and had a number of good mid-range looks as well. So he's definitely stepped up that part of his game. In addition to the to going to the rim hard and being able to at least hit a spot up 3, he does have that mid-range now where he's hit about 35% of his points now from where he's scoring from. So I still like him in this matchup against KPJ. Gary Trent Jr., not going to be on him. He'll be on Hallie the whole time, right? So will Taurean Prince when he does, if he comes in. Then we're talking about like AJ Green and guys like that. So I'm down here for Nembhard to just go back to him. The only thing that would worry me about this is a blowout that sees him not playing any of the fourth quarter.
Yeah, but he's probably involved in the blowout, in the blowing of the out, if you will. Yeah, I mean, and as the series progresses, we've seen a lot more attention for Siakam, who's finally held under 20 against these Bucks. For Hallie, of course, as he tries to score a little bit more. So that's just led to open shots for Nemhard, and he's been very reliable in the playoffs, as you point out.
100%. So that's all the time we have for you in this one, though. Definitely make sure to check out all 4 episodes. We've got 3 more for the 4 games we've got going on here on Tuesday night. And until we see y'all next, happy betting.